going to do a kind of crash course. Can't really call this a workshop. It's probably not going to be nearly as long as my typical workshops, but some of you had asked how I go about making some of my timers, and well, the timer I use is apparently buried in the depths of Canva somewhere. Some of you asked for a template link. Let me show you how to use the template link in the description box below. Let's get started. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to another, like I said, I guess, kind of workshop. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Alongside the raw stories my characters weave throughout time and space, I help other soul bards and creatives do what they like to do most, creating healing stories, whether it be through fictional tales or on their social media content. So today we're going to go ahead and look at the social media content end of things with this kind of workshop. Recently, in one of my live stream sprints, I think it was one of the Tuesday night or the Friday night sprints, somebody had asked, how do I make the timers that I use for myself to avoid some issues with copyright some of us have been having as sprint hosts lately on our channels? I actually use Canva to make mine with a combination of the free audio and the audio library from YouTube Studio. So to look specific, you can kind of get your audio wherever you like, just mind the copyright laws, and if you buy your credits or if you do it through Canva, make sure you do a single download. We'll talk about all that here in a little bit more toward the end. What I like to go ahead and do is invite you to get the 30-minute timer template link that's in the description box below. I use this timer template to make not only the 25-minute timer that I use for the actual length of my sprints, but also for the 5-minute chat break timer. And I'll show you how to go ahead and do both with this template today. The template link, if you're actually not sure how to even make a template link in Canva, let me go ahead and show you how to do that first. Here on the share button in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to go ahead and actually look for the copy link button. You're going to want to make sure above it that you have it set to anyone with the link can edit it. And then right below it, you're going to click the template link button, create template link. Now, not always do you have to set it to public like that with the editing features, but I've found I've had fewer issues if I do set those two things together. If you want to go ahead and pause and backtrack and review those steps, you're welcome to go ahead and do so. If you want to do it for me, click for click. But at the end of the whole steps, it'll give you this copyable link. And this is the link that I'll be sharing with all of you in the description box below. I'll just exemplify here in another tab that kind of what'll happen and simulate what'll happen when you all click that link. It'll pop up into a description box and ask if you want to edit the template. Now, some of the items I have in here, it's a plain black background and one of the pop-outable frames. If I go ahead and right click here on that 30-minute timer portion, you'll see where I can detach a video from a frame. So you can go ahead and detach that if you want. This timer might be a Canva Pro paid premium subscription item. And if you're interested in joining Canva, please do let me know. I'm interested to see if any of you would like to join me and learn more about doing more of this as I go ahead and plan out season 2 of So You Want to Be an AuthorTuber and my second payable course. Did you know I have a payable course over on Teachable? I might be moving here to YouTube soon. Find out more about that in the future too. So once you're in here, you can kind of do whatever you want. If you want to click on the background and delete it, it'll give you a solid white background there. I have really bad eyes with bright things, so I made it a filled in background. but I understand where some of you might be, that's harder to see. So since I'm going to change it anyway, I'll leave it on the white. You can add a video in here if you would so like. You can add a photo in here as your background. You can build a whole new background. Whatever you so like would feel free to do as your background. Go ahead and build it at this time. For me, what I've been doing lately is just pulling simple videos. Like some of you probably recognize the fireplace video here. I have been uploading that one as a normal sprint timer for everyone lately. I also made one using sakura trees recently, I believe for an event weekend as part of the Heart Breathing's writing community. Check that link in the description box if you would like to go ahead and join us and find out more about sprint times on the routine and our event weekends. And some of you are just like, wow, you mean I can do this on my own if you would so wish, okay? I'm going to go ahead here at the top, and since I'm filming this on, or during rather, Valentine's Day week, not on, I should say during, we're going to go ahead and pull up just some Valentine's Day themed things. I like to look for as long of a video as I can possibly find because my video here is in minutes, whereas these videos are often in seconds. So I found a 30-second one that's kind of magical and pretty looking, fitting to my channel theme. I like that a lot. Oh, I like that a lot. I like that more than I should. This is getting downloaded and uploaded on the channel. So what I'll go ahead and do for that download and upload at this time is I'll actually go to home. Oh, nope. What I'll go ahead and do for that download and upload at this time is make a copy because I'm actually going to rename this. I want to keep my template as my template. That's just me. That's just me. So go in, rename my file, 30-minute timer template, magical hearts. Now I'm a gamer, so I could call this gaming hearts, but it's Valentine's Day. So people will probably call me on that, and rightfully so. You're going to then, of course, share, download is what you're going to do. Make sure it's set to MP4 there on your downloads, not JPEG or something of that nature. And just wait. While it's waiting, go to File, make a copy, and it'll populate another copy in another tab. And what I'm going to go in here and do is change from 30 minutes in my title to 5 minutes, because also I'm going to come down here on the play bar to the very right of the play button, right above the duration tab and notes tabs. You'll see where it says 30 minutes on the counter. It's really tiny right here. Double click that and you'll get this option up here on the bar above then where you're working to actually edit your time down magically to click 5, done, click, and it'll reroute you down to 5 minutes. Now, it's going to take the first 5 minutes of the video. I want it to show the last 5 minutes of the video. So what I'll go ahead and do is double click down on that number again, and you'll see how you can drag this bar at the top where you had originally typed in 5 full minutes. Drag that bar to the final 5 minutes. Now, I actually like to give a little bit of a few seconds in between or at the beginning of each of mine. So I'm going to make that 5 minutes and 25 seconds, and it's 5:25 for 5 minutes 25 seconds in this case. Make sure that this slider bar is dragged all the way to the right, so it's the final 5 minutes and 25 seconds before clicking done. And if you notice down here on the lower left-hand corner by the play button, it matches and our timer started playing. If I were to click the play all button by the share, it would pick up where I would want it to. Click the close button there for now. Can I change my background at this point? Sure, why not? Visually appealing, go ahead and click your background and then your delete or backspace key. Let's find a different video to build for our other background. I'm going to go with romance for this one. And let's find something romantic, since I am a romance author of some kind. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really elegant and pretty. Delete. Not quite, though. Ooh. Disco ball. Purple disco ball. This is very pretty. And it's a longer video, 25 seconds, so it won't loop as many times. That's very nice, actually. If I go ahead and right click it and then do replace background or attach to background and then click the play, that actually complements the colors here of my timer. Now, if you're like, I don't like the colors of this timer, what do? That's quite easy. You can do this to either your background or to the item inside that frame if you decide to keep it inside the frame. Just make sure if all you're working on is the timer portion that's the only portion actually highlighted. So I just click off into the negative space here around my workspace, and then I'll go back in and single select on the actual timer video itself inside the frame and click edit video here on the top bar and the upper left hand side. And you'll be given all of these different options to filter it. If you click see all on the filter, it'll pop up even more. And you can kind of play with some of the colors. They give you a grayscale option. Looks like some street signage a little bit. The Cali is really sharp and vibrant. I haven't found a way to change the text color from being red. Was the only thing I wasn't able really to change much on this timer without actually going to something like drama on the vivid option or even retro or even whimsical. It's kind of pre-programmed a little bit. And let's see, Rosie. Rosie actually looks good. Rosie actually looks really good. So likewise, I'm going to make sure it's the file name I want. And once I'm all done and it's how I wish it to be, I'm going to go to share. And I'm going to go to download. Make sure it's set for an MP3. And then once your computer is done deciding whether or not it has the resources to let you download and the space on your disk to let you download, because that's probably what's stopping me at this point, you can go ahead and click download. Now, what I'll go ahead and do is either once these are all downloaded, I'll either go into DaVinci Resolve and splice them together with music, or you can make a whole new Canva video and try to upload these two videos into it. I think Canva is getting to where they are limiting the size of videos people can upload. So the 30-minute video may be too long. Check your file sizes. We're going to go ahead and let these finish downloading, and I will check back with you in a little bit to make the final product. So we're actually going to go into DaVinci Resolve because that's how I typically finish these off. I have this little video that I made a while ago, and I can demonstrate how I made the video if you would like, and make a new one. It would take a little bit of time to do so, but some of you may recall this popping up on some other videos on my channel. If I drag it into DaVinci Resolve here and go to my favorite editing tab, which would be the actual edit tab. It's on the bottom third from the left there. So I call this my 5-second screen switch because it's, well, 5 seconds of a screen switch. Some of you have seen it before, as I mentioned. It looks like this. I originally made it for these timer videos. So let me go ahead and delete that out of there. I did go ahead and download both the 30-minute template timer with hearts. It looks all magical and pretty. I'm going to drag that onto my timeline and let it sit right here as video and audio 1. I'm then going to go ahead and use the Go to Next Edit button here toward the middle of the screen to my advantage and click it so it jumps all the way into that section. Then I'm going to grab my screen switch. Some of you are like, oh, this is a good idea. Saves a lot of time, right? Drag it onto the timeline. Make sure I click off into the negative space. What I said in Canva about negative space, making sure you only have one item clicked, applies here. Just click into random negative space below or above. And then I'm going to select the clip I want of the screen switch, go into the video transitions, right click the dissolve because I want it to go to add to selected endpoints. So the beginning and end of this will automatically blur dissolve when it comes in. Here's the example of what I mean if I play it. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and make sure I click this make sure I'm at the end button again because I'm going to also drag over my 5-minute timer template into DaVinci and let it sit there and make sure it's on my list of clip names and items before I then drag it to the very tail end of that 5-second screen switch because it'll automatically go into. Now, some people might prefer to take the blur and bop it just by dragging it to the other side of this divide so you can see how it looks a little bit more differently here. Some people would also prefer to put the blur on both ends so it'll blur going out of one clip and blur coming into the next. So you can kind of stack your effects in DaVinci to be on the beginning and end of clips. I'm going to go ahead and use the navigate previous edit to jump between edits here and make sure I'm adding the blur dissolve on the beginning and end of every single clip. I can also use the zoom out and zoom in slider to make the clips a little bit bigger, click into the negative space, and click each one individually to make sure I am adding that blur on both ends. Now, there is something very similar to this in Canva. I think they call it match, mix and match, something like that. Yes, I'm going to add another 5-second timer at the end, or else I will go over my break time, as we can't have that happen especially if I'm using this in events. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and add that blur dissolve on. Once I'm done, I like to click Control S on my keyboard, and silly me hasn't saved yet. So let's go ahead and make this a pretty gamer and romantic Valentine timer. Save, because I'm going to then click on the very bottom my render or deliver button. Okay, I want to make sure it's set for YouTube. I want to click here to browse, and then I want to go ahead and save it to my desktop under a similar title. I just want to say Heart Timer 30 by 5 in this case, because that's probably more what I'm going to put it up on YouTube to be. Add it to my render queue and render all. Now, at this point, if you do not have something preset with music already to it, like my 5-second timer switch does, you can utilize, if you have not used the library in Canva, you can go ahead and utilize the audio library in YouTube Studio. This is a totally epic, awesome resource that if you're not using it as a creator and you do YouTube, you should consider it. Now, some items can be taken in and out of that audio library over time, to be fair. So let me show you how to go ahead and navigate to it. If you pull up any browser you like, you're going to go ahead and type in studio.youtube, whoops, if I can spell correctly, .com, right into your browser. Now, if you are above a certain level of monetization, tier 1 500, I believe it is, you here on the left-hand side will see that I have creator music beta. Even if you have that there, instead of saying audio library like it does for most of you, you can still get to the audio library. For most of you, you'll be able to just scroll down here on the left-hand side of your YouTube Studio, and right there, it'll be audio library. For those of you who have Creator Music beta here instead, you're going to go ahead and click here and then scroll all the way to the bottom of the page that loads. and then you'll be in the audio library. I'm going to meet you in the audio library. Again, it's the very, 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 very tiny, tiny bottom link all the way at the bottom. I'll see you on the other side of some portal hops. So what it actually says at the very bottom of the creator, what it actually says at the bottom of creator music beta is go back to audio library, and it's literally all the way at the bottom in like size 10 font. So you'll have to load into it. And most of you are used to seeing this audio library. There's some music. This includes vocal tracks and instrumental tracks. There's a ton of them. Take your time, sort through them. Literally, you can play through them, you can download them. You just have to give credit of the title name and the creator in your description box as you use these and the sound effects, everybody. You could easily just go ahead and something in like DaVinci, and instead of building a whole 5-second switch, just drop 5 seconds of sound onto the very end of your 30-minute or your 5-minute or however long your scenes are. And of course, in Canva, you're welcome to go ahead and play around with those sounds, but keep in mind, to avoid copyright infringement, you have to download a whole new video of your timer every single time you use it. So what you have to go ahead and do is, if you built the whole thing in Canva, you have to hit File, make a copy. When that new copy ends, share, download, make sure it's all connected to your social media, and download a new one for every single stream you do. Or you can upload it to your own channel once and then just reuse it on your own channel, kind of like Jules the Dawdling Writer and HK Darkwood does, or Anya Renner might. And if you want to go ahead and see some of their creations, please go ahead and check out. As you can tell, I can't use my computer for a little bit. So while this renders and I go ahead and get both of these videos out to you simultaneously, please take care of yourself. I'll see you around in a bit. Bye.